How would you respond to someone who you could feel or sense was projecting onto you?
First, it would be like, deep breath, deep breath. For me, there are some times, some circumstances, some people where I could feel them projecting on me, and it wouldn't really rattle me or my nervous system. I would be able to clearly know and see, oh, they're projecting. This is about them. This has nothing to do with me. And then there are other times when someone's projection on me, even if I generally know, it doesn't matter what someone else thinks of me. If this person has this story about me and I'm being misunderstood, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that I know what's true for me, and I know who I am, and I know my intentions, and I know what I believe. However, in reality, sometimes it is so triggering when someone is projecting. I'll talk about that first for me. In those circumstances, it probably first takes me absolutely everything I have inside of me to try to find a place of calm and to resist the urgent desire to react and to correct, set the record straight. Sometimes that feels like such an urgent desire. So anything I can do to calm myself down and put a little space between me and my response, that's helpful no matter what. No matter how you choose to respond. If you decide to respond with words, or if you decide to respond, in some circumstances, maybe it doesn't need a response, maybe you choose to remove yourself, whatever it is, pause will always help, I think. And one thing I have realized, which isn't satisfying to me in the moment and isn't satisfying to my mind or my ego, if you want to call it, but one thing I've learned is I'm almost, especially the triggering occasions, I'm almost never able to correct someone else's perception of me. The only thing I can do is control myself. And as annoying as it sounds, the most powerful thing for me to do in those moments is to figure out what I need to do to accept that they might be projecting on me. It's not satisfying, especially in the moment, but ultimately, in a longer term sense, that is the most satisfying and most empowering thing. You can think whatever you want, but I know the truth. That actually, when I kind of look back and look at those moments when I was able to do that, that feels so much more empowering. That feels so empowering. And I look back at the way I handled those circumstances, and I'm much more proud of myself when I was able to do that, to not try to change someone's mind, to not try to correct someone's perceptions. When I look back at the times I got hooked in and tried to do that, I look back at my behavior and I think, oh, not as proud. It's fine. I'm a human. But those times where I'm really able to just accept that someone else can make any story up about me they want, and it has nothing to do with me. It doesn't define me. The people who care about me know me. It's not going to affect those around me who know me, who trust me, who love me. And there is a real sense of freedom for me. If I am completely free from the impact of the way other people might see me or want to project on me, then I'm really free. I'm really free. My freedom is in my own hands. My trust in myself, everything about me in my life is in my own hands if I'm not affected by others' projections of me. Sometimes it's wildly challenging. I don't think I have it mastered. And the urge, especially in close relationships, the people who really matter to me, like one day, say you were having a horrible day and you decided to project on me, which I don't think you've ever done ever, but just say you did. You're having the worst day ever and you projected on me. That would be extra challenging because I care so much about you, And so same with a few other close relationships. That's where I would be most challenged if it happened. But even so, it feels so good to lean into. Every time there's an opportunity to lean into just accepting the way someone else sees things, not trying to like frantically correct. No, Taryn, that's not true. This is what's really true. Whenever I lean into just allowing that to be, oh, it feels so good and just continues to feel empowering. So that's what works. That's what works for me.
Yeah, I find this so challenging. I'm curious, what is important to know to accept that? What is important to know in terms of, I don't know, why people project or how people project? For you, what's important to know?
Oh, good question. So you're making me think two different things. The first thing is I just got curious about when I'm projecting on somebody else, what's happening?
Yeah.
When I project on other people, it's almost always coming from a place of my own fear. And yeah, my own fear or my own unresolved limiting beliefs, like my own messy stuff inside. Those are the things that might cause me to project on somebody else. So I think that's important to remember. I think that's probably pretty true when I project on other people. It's when I'm in a place where my fears and limiting beliefs are driving the bus and I'm not really conscious of it. I'm in a bit of like autopilot mode. And perhaps, for other people, it might be similar. A story is driving the bus and coloring their lens instead of the truth of the moment. And so when that's true for me, I often realize it later. I might have a moment where I am projecting something on my partner. And in the moment, maybe I'm like mad he's done something because it means XYZ. But when it's a projection, a little after I calm down and a little time goes by, I kind of realize what I was doing and the projection falls away and the truth reveals itself. And I find that reassuring because I think when somebody else is projecting on me, I trust that sooner or later, the fog will clear and they'll realize. So it's not something that I have to correct. I think time can sometimes just correct it. That whenever they come into alignment, whether that's in a week from now, 10 years from now, on their deathbed, at some point, life and their own hearts will, help the projection dissolve. I find that reassuring. Like I really trust that truth prevails eventually. I find that really helpful. I really think the truth always prevails. You can't control the timeline. Like I said, it could be tomorrow or it could be on someone's deathbed. Can't force someone else's timeline, but I think the truth does always come to the surface.
As a coach, this skill set to know when you're projecting, I think is especially important. I think this is true beyond coaching, as a therapist, as a mental health professional, as anything you do where you're supporting other humans. But as a coach, this is a particularly important skill set to master, to know when you are projecting onto someone, when you are filtering their words, what they're saying through your own lived experiences, when you are activated or triggered by what a client is saying. It's so, so, so important to be so self-aware that that's happening within you, because autopilot would be no self-awareness that that's happening. And then those activations, those triggers, those past experiences color the way that you are looking and listening to someone else. And projections in coaching conversations can be dangerous. They really can. They can be harmful. They can be dangerous. I really like what you're saying around, what helps you to, the healing balm that helps you to accept other people's projections is this incredibly deep self-awareness of when you as a human being do it yourself. And in coaching, we call that having a reflective practice. So being committed to your own internal happenings when you're in relationship with another human, because of course projections are going to happen. Of course, we're going to sometimes be triggered or activated by what someone is saying. And that's a human response. We're human beings. We're not perfect. We're not these kind of clear vessels with no lived experiences. But the antidote really is this deeply examined life within, this self-awareness of when it's happening, so that we can, in the moment with another human, put that aside, not push it away, put it aside for the moment, recognizing that there was an urge to want to project here, and then go look at that in the privacy of our own space afterwards.
You know, something else that coaching has taught me about projections? Coaching, not the concept of coaching per se, but the experience and the data I gained from coaching is that every time I choose curiosity instead of the story I already have, every time I choose curiosity, time and time again, the person in front of me reveals something so surprising and illuminating and proves that the way I was thinking about them or their life or what they should do or why they're being the way they're being, it shows me, oh, my story was wrong. And it's like, oh, wow. And that hasn't just happened once or twice or 3 times. It happens every time. Every time. The truth of, who this person is, why they're saying these things, why they're struggling, what they need, what the truth is. I'm shown time and time again that I never could have known that for them. And it's what a thing. So that proof time and time again is so helpful now for me as a human, so some things in my life can help me in my coaching. And I also notice this coaching helps me in my personal life, things are not always as they seem, especially when there's any sort of emotional response happening inside of me based on, whatever's being said. Whenever there's an emotional response, chances are things are not always exactly what they seem. And curiosity can also be such a helpful lens to break through the fog of my own projection or somebody else's.
Yeah. We talk a lot about embodying a coaching mindset. And I think the essence of embodying a coaching mindset serves us so well as a coach in relationship to other humans, but way beyond what happens in a coaching conversation with another. It serves to expand your mind with every single human in your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of what coaching or embodying a coaching mindset means is actually undoing everything we think we know about a person.
Yeah.
Sometimes there can be a tendency to want to figure this person out and put all the pieces together and understand the inner workings and know everything, why this person ticks or why this person makes a choice like this or a decision like this. And that is not conducive to a true curious coaching posture. A coaching mindset means looking at this human in front of you, forgetting about everything you think you know or all the expertise you might have inside of your brain, and approaching this human and looking at this human as unique as a thumbprint and being so curious to the inner workings, the inner wisdom, the inner knowledge of this human in front of you. And I think that is such a unique stance. And it's also why I feel like coaching is such a profoundly healing modality, simply through that stance.
Yeah.